Tech Tales 118. Tech Tales is where I tell and show things about recent support work that I've done for my clients here in Fresno, California. I've been doing this kind of work for 30 years, around 30 years as my own business, and a few years for that working for other businesses. These videos are not intended to be tutorial videos, but if you happen to learn something from these, I'm fine with that. So this is a support session that I had yesterday with a client. What I have here is the recorded video of that actual session with a lot of things blurred out to protect my client. And I'm not actually playing the audio from the phone conversation. So I'm going to be narrating through what we did in this support call. So I'm going to switch over here to my computer number 2, where I have that video all queued up and ready to go. I'm going to turn off that CPU statistics at the bottom of the screen because that's just in the way. So what you see here on my screen is my remote control software. It's LogMe and Rescue. I have some things blurred out on the screen because when this client called me, I was connected to, looks like, 4 other computers. And those are all blurred out to protect who those are. So I'm going to press the space bar here and this video starts playing through. I have the mouse on my computer number 2 that you see me moving around in a circle right now. I press the space bar and we'll see things happening. I'm going to connect to her cell phone, her iPhone, because she's lost one of her 2 email accounts on that phone. So I click on New Session and I'm typing in her name. Now she has, I'm going to pause this video right here. She has an app on her phone because I have connected to her phone before. So there's an icon on her iPhone. I'm going to show you what that looks like because I have that on another screen here on my computer number 2. This is actually a screen capture from my own iPhone. And there's this icon right here called Rescue. Kind of looks like a, I don't know, medical plus sign, I think. But so she touches on that and it asks her to enter a 6-digit code. Now I'm going to continue with this video. I'm calling up that 6-digit code and I'm going to scroll it down the screen here in a moment. You're going to see it in a portion of the screen that's not blurred out. There it is, 862320. So I read that to her over my telephone conversation with her. She types that in and then that's going to start a connection. Now there's an extra line that just popped up here in this area, and that is her phone. So now I'll right click on that line and choose, I think it's called Start or Connect, something like that. And that's going to be the next step in the connection. And then there's something for her to touch on. She gets an image on her screen that offers chat or recording or broadcast. And then here's her cell phone right here. And we can see that red button there. And it says screen broadcast. The alternative down here below that, well, right now it says stop broadcast, but previously she had an alternative for starting chat. She could either start a broadcast or a chat. I need a broadcast in order to see what's on her phone. Press the space bar again to continue this video. I'm going to click on this icon right here. I've got it paused again so I can point to that. It kind of has an arrow pointed up to the right, and that's going to pop this out of this small window here so I can see her cell phone in a larger image. Here it is. Now there was just, let me back this up just a little bit. Let's see if I can just do that here. Yeah, so this gives you a better image of this screen broadcast with that red recording kind of button. And then she can stop broadcast at any time that she chooses. She would have to come back to this app. You know how you can move from one app to another in your phone, an app that's open. So this is what I'm seeing right now, and I asked her to switch now to the email app so I can see what's going on. I have the background blurred on her phone, again, to conceal her privacy. So here's what happens when she goes to the email app. there's this message that says cannot get mail, no password provided for, and then I have her email address blurred out, and I'm going to ask her to touch on settings. I could have started a conversation with her during this support session of just asking, okay, what do you see on your screen? Well, she'd have to describe that it says I can't get my email. It's typically people would kind of summarize or generalize what it says. I want to know exactly what it says. I'm trying to develop an image in my mind of what's going on, but I don't know every message that can come up on a cell phone or on a computer as to what's going on. It's so much quicker and easier for me to see the message. So here I tell her to touch settings. I didn't even bother asking her to describe what she's seeing because it's just so much easier to see it on screen. So let's see, I think I pressed the space bar for it to move forward. Oh yeah, it took a little while for her to do it. I asked her to touch settings. Nothing happened. I asked, did you touch settings? And she's, oh no, I didn't realize you wanted me to do that. She didn't hear me the first time, I suppose. So here I have it paused again. This is what happens when she touched settings, and jumps out at me this re-enter password in blue, right? The rest of the screen is, some items I have blurred out. I have a blurring here and a blurring here, but all this area is not blurred. This area is not blurred. So you can see what this setting screens would look like. So I ask her to touch on re-enter password. Is it really going to be that simple? All we have to do is re-enter the password and she's good to go. What do you think? Now, here you see me switch over to OneNote on my computer, and I'm going to switch over again. So now I actually happen to have their file on my OneNote open, and I'm going to go look up what her password is because she's not sure what her email password is. She thinks she knows. She kind of described it to me a little bit. At this point in time, I'm thinking I think she's got it correct. Now, what I did here is I clicked on this section tab right here called Company People, or Usernames People, I think is what I have it called. And this is a standard tab that I have on all of my clients' files, and I'm going to describe a little bit more about how this is organized in a moment. But when I click in this blank area, it's going to pull up a password prompt for me, because in this section is where I keep all of their passwords and credentials and such. And this is password protected, meaning if somebody gets to one of my computers and tries to go look up this credentials information, they're going to have to enter my password for getting into this screen. And it's not my Microsoft password. This is a specific password for this client's Company People tab. Here you can see the name of the tab. I've unblurred a lot of this content here because it's okay for me to show you this now. This part blurred over here gives my actual client's name. So when I open a different file for a different client, it has their name here, and then I have all these section headings for them. When I click on one of these section headings, I'll get a list of pages over here on the right hand side. When I click on one of those pages, then I get content in this area and a scroll bar that I can scroll down. So I can have quite a lot of information that I manage here for my clients. These are standard section headings for me for Company People, software, computers network, internet email, printers. And then at this point, the section tabs kind of vary a little bit from one client to another. But these first, 5 tabs are pretty consistent. Client computers, I don't have that on all of my clients' notes. Problems is there for every client. So if they call me with a problem, I'll record it in that problem section heading. And so each problem will have a separate page over here on the right hand side. So at any point in time, I can type an error message here in this search field, and I can have it search through all of my OneNote files for all of my clients. So maybe I find that another client had a particular problem. So when I search particular error message, it'll find it anywhere it exists. Or I can restrict the search to just this client's OneNote file. Then I have service process and service requests, devices, checklists, and self-service documentation. I'm not going to describe here what content exists on each of those, but it's various different content. So it makes it for an easy way for me to manage things. So here I'm putting in my password. It's a pretty long, complex password. So now I'm seeing all of their account credentials. I'm on the Company People tab. That's where I maintain all their account credentials. And then over here on the right-hand side, I have different pages. So you can see it's kind of heavily blurred out here, but there's multiple different types of information. So what I want in this instance is the credentials for this Microsoft 365 account. That's what this particular email account is under. So I think I'm probably going to click on, I clicked on a different one here. So then here I'm going to find and highlight her password. You'll see me highlight it right there. So that's the password, and I can read it out to her. So now I'll switch back to the image of her phone. Let's see, I'm going to press play again. So then here she's entering that password, and I've got this unblurred. Of course, you can't see what her password is. Your account will be remembered on this device, and you can choose forgot my password or sign in with another account. So she's going to finish typing that password and then touch sign in. And there it goes. And then I've got it paused again. There's an option here for re-entering password. We don't need to do that. I'm looking over this screen. I don't see anything else we need to do here. So I ask her to switch back to the Mail app and see if that fixed it. Turns out that yes, it was this simple to fix. Is it moving forward? I think it should go forward to another. Yeah, it is. The video is moving forward. Okay, so then here's her accounts listing. And up in the upper left corner, she touches Mail to go back one screen, and now she's switching to the Mail app, and she's got two different mailboxes. You know what? I'm going to move back there a little bit. Move back in this video to describe this. She's got the mailboxes screen. On the top here says all mailboxes, and then we have each of her two different email accounts because this company has rebranded themselves, so they actually have new email addresses, so they're managing two email addresses. On her cell phone, she can touch either one of these email addresses to see the inbox just for that email account, or she can touch here on all email boxes, or it says all inboxes, and that's going to show her email for both of the email accounts combined on one screen. That's pretty convenient. So when I set this up for a user, I'll explain to them how to make that change. And now she's on the inbox for one of the email accounts. She can touch this back button or mail button, accounts button. I'm not sure what it says right there, but that takes her back to the screen where she can choose which email account she wants to look at right now. So continuing the video, and it's just about at the end there. That's the end of it. So this literally was a 4-minute support call. It clearly would have taken longer if I had to have her describe what she sees on the screen and try to reconstruct, or maybe try it on my own phone to figure out how to take her through what she wants to do. I find connecting remotely to a iPad or an Android cell phone or an iPhone, it is so much easier to provide support, and mainly I support Windows computers, but I do some other things too. I support cell phones, as you just saw. I support IP phone systems, and typically I don't know those very well. When a client asks me, can you provide support for this or that, I'll tell them, look, that's not my area of expertise, but I'm happy to help with that. Some things with copy machines, I do those too, and I tell them I may not be as efficient as if you called direct to that vendor, but I find my clients are telling me that it's actually easier and quicker for me to provide support for those other things, because the tech support departments for those other providers or those other devices, they don't have a relationship with them. They don't know them as well. The tech support person they're talking to doesn't know the client as well, and I can handle the support need usually much quicker. When there is a learning curve for me, I charge for that. It's not my area of expertise. If you want me to support you in that on that product, it may cost you a little bit more if I have a learning curve for it. Sometimes I soften that a little bit, but I pretty much think that it's a justifiable expense. And then because down the road, I keep notes. They know that I keep records and notes. They call me sometimes saying, had to hit the pause button there. They call me sometimes saying they've got a problem, and I type that problem into my notes, and I say, oh, we had that same problem on July 2nd, 19 whatever, or well, it's usually not 1900s, but can be, 2014 or whatever it was. And yeah, I see the fix for it, and we get it fixed in very quick order. So that was just another service call. I hope this was useful to you. Have a great day. Catch you later. Goodbye.